Hello, hello.
Hello,
My
hello.
name is Gowtham.
Okay.
I am living in Grayson.
What's up, y'all? Gotham's in the bathroom right now. I'm just about to scare the shit out of him. Stop. Stop. Sit. No. Sit, Daisy. 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 Stop. I'm trying to.
Oh shit!
Oh, I did get you. Woo!
Kill my energy. You lift me up for real. Oh no, 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 no. Where can we take
Oh
it back?
no, 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 no. Oh no,
I'm hoping that
no, no,
I
oh
could be the
no,
one for you.
no, no, no. I don't know where you came from. Can we stay in my bedroom? All my life was in the shade room. Now my cries done brought the sunshine. I don't know where you came from. Don't take my life away like Trayvon. Cut the ties, I tried to grow strong. All inside, I keep my dead ones. Hold my nine, don't take a life guy. Come for mine, I might just bust some.
What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dawgin. I'm your host, SeanWins. Today, we're accompanied by one of my special friends, one of my longtime friends, Mr. Gowtham Ramesh.
What's up, guys?
Unless you didn't want me to say your last
No,
name.
you're
right
good. You're good.
I've actually I've known you for a long time now.
Yep.
And I can't believe this whole entire time I've spelled your last name wrong.
Yep. I remember we went to Crunch yesterday.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
typed in Remish.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was
Ramesh.
Ramesh.
Yeah, Ramesh.
What is it?
It's Ramesh.
Ramesh.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense. I always thought it was like spelled difficult, just like it had like a strong accent, like R-E, but it's just like Re.
If you want to say it like actual way, it's like Ramesh. You have to like roll the R and you
Whoa.
say Aish.
I've never heard you
Yeah.
say that before.
If you say like the actual Tamil Indian way, it's Ramesh. But
I've never even
I just say Ramesh.
I didn't know Indian people roll their R's.
We do.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like the language, Drugati?
Gujarati.
Gujarati.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I mean, they also roll their R's too. But if you're living in America, you're not really rolling your R's because
That's
white people
crazy.
can't really,
huh?
But
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never knew that.
yeah,
All right. So this is your first time on a podcast.
yeah. First podcast.
All right. So do you watch podcasts at all?
I do. I watch Andrew Schultz.
Okay.
I watch JJ Redick and LeBron's podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
And if I'm going to sleep, I'll like put some sleep podcast on where they just like talk about like random stuff.
There's a sleep podcast?
Yeah, there's like sleep talk where they'll like talk about random topics.
Oh, that's
Like last night I was listening to this astronomy one. But like, I mean, I'm never actually listening half the time. I'll just go to sleep.
yeah.
But it's like the background noise, like the
Yeah.
noise.
No, I get it.
Either that or just some random podcast.
I'm
Joe
the type
Rogan
of,
too.
I'm the type of person to I play music and I get
Yeah.
my timer.
Yeah.
And so someone taught me how to do this. I forgot who, but you put on a timer instead of having a ringtone.
Mhm.
You can put it as I just scroll all the way to the bottom. It says music stops.
Okay.
So I just play like either a playlist or I play one song on repeat for
Yeah.
like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and I just go to sleep. To
You
that.
use Apple Music or Spotify?
Apple Music.
Okay. Yeah,
What
I'm on
about you?
Spotify, but
Yeah.
if you're playing on like a Bluetooth, so if I'm using my phone to play it on my Alexa,
Right.
it doesn't let you like have a cue and like stop. It just
really?
keeps going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean it's all right. You just play like one playlist and it's like 15 hours long, so you're
Right.
up and about by that time it's over. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
I like it. Right, so Gautam, I know you.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. My name's Gautam. Obviously Zach already introduced me. I was born in California, but I've lived in Willbrook, Duluth for like since 2004.
Yeah.
And then went to the same elementary, middle, and high school as Zach.
Yeah.
Best buds. We grew up together.
For sure.
Whole gang. You, me, Varel, Prashant,
Yeah.
cul-de-sac boys.
Yeah.
I bought this house like 6 months ago.
Congratulations.
So making moves.
25 years old, right?
Yeah. I turned 25 in May,
Okay.
so I'm 24 still.
Well, 24, almost 25-year-old homeowner right here.
Yep.
You know, we were usually
Live
always,
at home, kids. Like living at home, you save so much money, bro. I'm telling you, it's so worth it. If your parents want you home, stay at home.
For sure. But there's a lot of people that have those same dreams as you, like owning a home at your age or
Yeah.
even earlier. And we usually only see that from like famous people. Now,
Mm.
don't get me wrong, obviously it does happen with people around your age, our age, but it's like we always only give the highlights to like these celebrities. We only think it's possible for these celebrities.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you made it happen.
I mean, if you save enough and you're not paying rent while you're still working, it's absurd the amount of money you save.
Right.
I mean, you can eat out 4 times a week and still save money because $2,000 on rent is just saved.
Yeah.
So living at home, I mean, living rent free.
Yeah.
Mom's cooking you food, like
Yeah, that's
you don't have to
fair.
spend money on that either. It's definitely worth it if your parents want you there. So
I thought that was crazy when I found that out about you. You told me that you actually eat out a lot. You actually ate out a lot more than I thought you did.
yeah, when I first moved here, like I mean, I can't cook, so I was I was eating out. I was eating Chipotle like twice a day sometimes.
Yeah.
It was at least 5 days a week I was eating out. Chipotle, Taco
Right.
Bell, whatever I could find,
Right.
just Grubhub, DoorDash. But then I realized like well, if you got a mortgage to pay too, like you gotta stop and like chill out for a
Right.
bit. So
Is that what you've been doing?
I've been cooking a little bit. I go home like every weekend, pick up
Yeah.
some food from my mom. She makes
Nice.
me food. So I try to eat out like once or twice a week now. So it's a
Right.
lot better.
Yeah.
Gained a lot of weight too. So
Yeah.
I gotta. I think I realized that too late. So, Daisy, but
That's his daughter.
yeah,
Dog.
my daughter for sure. Um, but yeah, eating out it's definitely convenient, and I mean Chipotle is like $9 a bowl, so
Yeah.
you could definitely eat out like a lot, and
Yeah.
it'd be like spending like the normal amount of
I
food
mean, you
a
can
month.
make it work.
Yeah,
for
you can make
sure.
it work, but if
But
you're
for
eating
me-
out twice a day, that's where it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
okay, there we
Yeah.
go. But my thing was, it was just so surprising for me because you being of like Asian culture as well, and like you're first generation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that being said, like, your parents, my parents are so, they have so heavy beliefs on like I guess how would you put it? I guess
Very conservative
yeah.
in terms of how to raise your kids and the way you should live life.
Right. And like just like the story of any immigrant, it's almost like when you get at least from our parents when they got here, it's like they're in survival mode. They're just doing everything
Exactly.
they can to save money
Yeah.
and just try to, push for the bigger goal. And so that's why it surprised me because especially knowing how strict your parents were on you growing up,
Yeah.
I never thought you'd be the type of person to
That's the
eat
thing.
out
I feel
that.
like
I thought they would got on you.
if you're raised by really strict parents, I feel like the majority of kids who are raised by strict parents, they turn out more rebellious.
That's
Because when you're raised strict and you go to a public school and you're around kids that have a lot more freedom than you,
that's true.
you sort of have that ingrained mentality. So when you grow up, you're like, damn, why didn't I have this when I was a kid? I'm gonna make up for all that when I'm older.
Right.
So I feel like that's the mentality I had too. So my parents growing up, like if I went out to play the cul-de-sac with you guys, I had a
Yeah.
2 hour time limit. I had to be back
Yeah.
for dinner. I had to do my homework, go to
I remember
sleep,
that.
like do all that. So when I grew up, I'm like, damn, I don't have a curfew anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to reason my behaviors. I don't have to reason what I'm doing, where I'm going, why I'm doing it with my parents. I feel like that, and you can also get carried away with that too, because
Right.
that's what's happened to me. I mean, eating out like all this much is
Yeah.
that's a result of not eating out as much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's sort of like it can go both ways. If you're raised by strict parents, you can end up being very frugal in your life too, or you can be the complete polar opposite.
I've seen that. I've seen both of those in my own family. But you actually had me thinking just now. Is like you said you can get carried away with it, but at the same time, like you might have said you gotten carried away with it for a little
Yeah.
bit. But the thing is, I also feel like everything's a choice. So you can either become really frugal or you can become super rebellious. But for someone like you kind of tap back into your roots.
Yeah.
And so, what kind of made you do that? Just like you realizing that how much money you're spending, or like was it like a guilt feeling?
I feel like it's a mix of both. Obviously, financially, it wasn't smart. Also, I mean, I feel like generally when we're kids and we grow older, we realize like when we grow mature, we realize how important our parents are,
Right.
how much they did for us, especially being immigrants. They
Right.
lived their whole life for our sake. So that's where the guilt comes in. You feel like you're not living up to your parents' expectations, but that's also a bad thing because you shouldn't live your life to please someone else, even if it's your parents.
Right.
So I just feel like the reason I tap back into my roots per se is just realizing like what's important.
Yeah.
Spending all this money, going out to eat, I feel like it all comes down to money for me, but there's a lot more to it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you said like, not wanting to disappoint your parents or anything.
Yeah.
Now, how big of a deal was it, for the Asian and the Indian stereotype? Did your parents want you to be a doctor or a neurosurgeon, anything like that? Like,
So
honestly speaking.
not really, actually. I mean, now that I think about it, I'm kind of surprised. My parents never really pushed a career onto me or my sister.
Nice.
My sister wanted to be a doctor from when she was elementary, middle school, so she
Yeah.
stayed on that path her whole life. Now she's starting residency, finished med school, and all that. Um, my parents definitely didn't want me to be an art major or English major, things like
Right.
that. They wanted me to study in something that would make me money.
Right.
But that's the extent of where they pushed me.
Nice.
After that, it was my choice. So I could have been a doctor, an IT, ended up in IT, but I could have been anywhere else. Even my major in college, I was a business major, and people talk down about that too, how easy
Yeah.
it is, things like that. But
Easy.
as in like it's not as hard as like IT or pre-med or
Now,
things
can
like
I ask
that.
you what type of people were telling you it was easy? Like, of what
People who
ethnic
were
group?
people who were comp sci major or people who
Okay.
were pre-med major were the ones
Okay.
usually saying that that business is
I was actually trying to get at ethnic groups. I was wondering if it was
Yeah.
Indian. I was wondering if
definitely Asians too. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, okay.
the Asians are definitely the one that
told you.
will
it was-
like microjudge you. You
Yeah.
know? A lot of them won't say anything, but
Right.
they'll think it. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
But it all just whatever matters is where you end up.
I think it's the funniest thing is like when I meet like family friends or just like I guess some of my mom's clients that are around my age.
Yeah.
They always ask me like, oh, like what did you do? What do you do for work? Or like what did you go to school for?
Mhm.
And I start off with, oh, I was a dropout. And it's that like you can see it in their eyes. They're like they don't want to say
They'll be
anything
like, "Oh,
offensive. They're
okay,
like, yeah, that's
Yep.
that's
In
that's
the
no
car ride
problem.
back home, they'll talk about it with their kids, like,
Right.
"Don't be like Zach" or "Don't be
Yeah.
like Gowtham," and then it's really where you end up, man. I feel like there's really a bad stigma, especially nowadays. You can do whatever you want and make money. I mean, you
Yeah.
can stream on Twitch, make money. You can be a social media influencer. You can do whatever you want and make bank.
Yeah.
So I feel like nowadays a lot of parents are adjusting to that, and they're
Mhm.
realizing that there's a lot more ways to make money than being in computer science or being in the medical industry.
Yeah, pretty much being like stuck in one place.
Exactly. And
And
there's a lot more freedom to move around in your career as well.
absolutely. Yeah, that brought up a good point, and I think it just went away.
I feel that too. You think of something like 30 seconds later, you just completely forget.
Yeah. You were saying that like they're becoming more lenient about it, like our parents or like just people are in
Yeah.
general. I think that's where I always felt like it was a problem when it came to like the Asian community. Like we
Mhm.
always wanted to say like we all should get a career or a job
Yeah.
that pays you really well. Like don't get me wrong, like who doesn't want the best for their child? Why wouldn't you want them to make the most money they can?
Yeah.
But I mean, how many of your friends can you name that like have these like high end careers or got these degrees and whatnot, and they're not happy?
a lot. Yeah, not a lot.
And so that's something I realized at a young age. I feel like the Asian community lacked is like we're always pushing for like all these high accomplishments, but we're never pushing for our people to just be happy.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's where Asian culture comes in, because Asian culture is if you're financially successful, you're happy. They don't, especially like happiness is such a skewed mindset, especially for Asians. My parents, Indian parents especially, if you go to your parents and tell them you're depressed, they're gonna be like, go drink some water or
Right.
go outside.
it's
know?
like it's not a real thing.
Right. So they feel like if you're not making money, you're not gonna be happy.
Right.
That's a terrible mindset to be in, but that's just how they were raised, and it's hard for them to adjust. I feel like we're growing up in a much more changing society. Like every day something's changing.
Right.
So for us, it's easier to adapt. But when they grew up, everything's the exact same way. It's concrete guidelines, and
Yeah.
it's hard for them to change,
Right.
no matter how much we try.
And so, I just think of it as like, we only have one life to live. And so, like, I wouldn't want the majority of my life or anybody else's life to be focused so much on like chasing a goal
Yeah.
that might not even make them happy. Now, if it does at the end of the day, like, congratulations.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to push for those things, but also at the same time, emphasize how much enjoyment there is, like, or how much enjoyment there could be, like, along the ride. Like, it shouldn't have to be, like, about the end goal all the time. Like, I think that's one thing I'm going to do with my kid is, like, look, you can push to have these big goals and everything. Just make sure just to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And I think even myself, I never had any big goals to become a doctor or anything like that, but I definitely always wanted to, do something or be something because that's in the environment I was raised in.
Yeah.
And I kind of lost track of, like, even, like, just simple as, like, the friends around me. And that's something I've been actually trying to emphasize on, like, these most recent years is, like, I actually realized the most important thing I have in my life are my friends. Because at the end of the day, we can't take anything to the grave with us. You can't take money. You can't take property. I mean, your kids can take it.
Yeah.
But all you can really take to with you is to the grave is your memories.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, people at the end of the day, when you die, people are going to not remember what you have, but remember how you lived your life.
Yeah.
And so I always thought, I hope my friends like yourself and all the people we grew up around, other friends we made along the way, they can be like, you know what? Not only was Zach or Sean successful, but he was a good friend and he was there for me and he really cared for people and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's why you hear a lot of rappers are like, put my money in the grave. Like, it's not how much they want to have their previous generation or their future generations have. It's about their legacy. And success is either happiness or money. It's up to the person. So, and then you mentioned you're gonna raise your kids differently, and I feel like that's how a lot of our generation is. I feel like our generation is such a huge gap between our parents' generation.
Right.
I feel like we're gonna be it's gonna be a completely different world.
Yeah.
When now people our age, when we have kids, it's gonna really change.
No, for sure. And I think about that all the time. I think it's exciting in a way to think about, but at the same time, I'm also kind of scared. I'm like, okay, I feel like we still need some of these, like
all these iPad kids now.
Yeah.
If the kids are acting up, just put an iPad in their face, and that's me and Nikki were talking about it earlier too. Like that's not how kids nowadays are being raised like that. It's so bad because that's how you see now people with anxiety or this like anxiety rates are so high and things like that. It's just because they weren't raised in a way to be able to deal with that and to be able to talk with their parents. I mean, being Asian, you can't go up to your parents and talk about your feelings. I mean, especially with how we grew up.
Right.
But I want our kids to be able to talk to us about their hard feelings, and if they're acting up, I'm not going to throw an iPad in their face. I'm going to talk to them and do things with them.
Right.
But I feel like that's where it's going to change a lot.
Absolutely.
How our generation's raised.
And I hope like in the future, it's like it stops being like a competition of like of how either my kids are better in like a career wise or how much they're more mentally tough because they can take my whoopings or they can take my insults.
Yeah.
And it's more like we start not bragging, let's say, but let's just say we make it more. It just becomes a more popular thing to like be able to communicate, like healthy communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see.
For sure.
Yeah, not even for just ADHD community, just people in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, touching back to our childhood. Do you remember anything about the first time we met each other?
Honestly, no. I feel like the only memories I have of meeting the Wilbur kids was just, I think the first one I met was Ramsey, then Prashant, then it might have been you or Jungwoo.
Yeah.
And then I
Jungwoo.
don't know how I met Burrell either.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember how I met most of the people. I know I met Prashant through Wall-Vihar, our church school.
Yeah.
And then Ramsey was my age, so we were in kindergarten together. We had the same class.
Okay. And y'all lived across the street from each other, literally.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest memory I have of our childhood was, I remember we were, I think like 5th grade, 6th grade.
Yeah.
And it was like Saturday morning. Jungwoo comes and rings my doorbell at like 8 a.m. My grandma opens the door. This dude runs upstairs, starts jumping on my bed to wake me up.
That's crazy.
He wants to go and play zombies at his house.
Yo, shout out to Jungwoo, but I'm not gonna lie. Like you did do that a lot. You would wake up, like thinking about it now, it's actually really crazy. Like I would actually, from our parents' perspective, I'd be so pissed to have this kid wake you up.
But it's nice though. I feel like I feel like if you can feel comfortable enough with your friends to be able to do that,
Right.
I feel like there's that bond there for sure. So
Yeah.
I didn't mind it at all. I mean, I was
Yeah.
asleep. He woke me up. I was up and about. We went to
Yeah.
go play zombies and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
if it's someone you met yesterday and they're doing that the next day, that's
Yeah.
when it gets weird. But I'd known Jungwoo for a while then,
Right.
so it felt normal to me.
Nah, I think that's what was really cool about our childhood. Like we literally had like a band of brothers. We were
Yeah.
like family. Most
Yeah.
of our family, most of our parents knew each other.
Yeah.
I honestly think my mother is probably the only parent that really didn't um talk to your parents or to any of the other parents. But it was just for the sole fact, like I know what it was. Like my mom's a single mother and she was always working.
Yeah.
So there was no time versus
Yeah.
like maybe your dad was working, your mom was home, or
Right,
whatever.
for
But I
sure.
knew your parents. Most of everyone's parents in the group knew my
Yeah.
grandmother because she was always in the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
she'd always go walking. You say hi to everyone.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
remember even if she didn't know you, she'd wave to you and say hi. It's
Yeah, I
just-
know it was so crazy. Like so many people came to me when she
Mhm.
passed. Like there was people I never seen in our neighborhood before.
Yeah.
They would come. They haven't seen my grandmother walk in like
Yeah.
forever, so they would come knocking on the door and asking for her. And
Mhm.
in my mind, I'm like, I would speak respectfully, like, oh no, she actually passed away, da 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 da. But I'm just like,
Rest in paradise. By the way.
thank you. And I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. But you seem like a sweet lady
Yeah.
or a gentleman. And it's
That's
like,
what they always say. Like they'll
Yeah.
like hate on you when you're coming up, and then when you're up, they'll be like, "What's up, Zach? Remember me?" Like, how they
That's
all
crazy. Actually, so I actually remember meeting you for the first time. It was my first day literally first day going to school
Yeah.
ever. I mean, well, I went to Kids Are Kids. I went to preschool, so that's different. First day in kindergarten.
Mm.
I get on the bus. You were 2 bus stops away from mine. After
Yeah.
my bus stop, then they went down to Jungwoo's. They stopped right there, and then it
Jungwoo's.
goes to yours.
Yeah.
And I remember you getting on the bus. You and Ramsey got picked up.
Yeah.
And then I remember I'm just sitting down. I'm just like, bus shaking.
Yeah.
And then I just see you. And then I remember, I don't know who started it, but Ramsey might have said something to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? What did you say? And he's like, you heard me go through that. And you guys just started like pushing each
No,
other.
Ramsey definitely
Dude,
said something.
Dude, it's like 6 in the morning. You guys
Yeah.
are already like shoving each other.
Yeah.
And I still remember our bus driver from kindergarten. Her name was Miss T or Miss Tabitha.
All I remember was Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill.
Remember the Friday song?
Oh yeah.
It's Friday. No, it wasn't even like the Friday. It was like a different remix to Rebecca Black's Friday, but he was singing that every Friday.
But all right. So I remember it being like, it's Friday.
Yeah,
it's
something like that.
Friday.
Yeah, and we'd all sing along too.
No, most of the kids at first were like, Mr. Bill, ew,
Yeah.
stop it. And he was like, you guys don't like my voice? No. And it was like, well, I'm gonna keep singing.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yep.
It's Friday. Yeah, good time.
I remember
Good
that.
time. All right, so fast forward now.
Yeah.
Let's say I met you when I was 5. That's crazy.
Kindergarten.
Yeah. So fast forward 19 years.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, I'm doing the math wrong. 19, 20 years for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Did you always know what you wanted to do?
Not really. I mean, kinda. When I was graduating high school, I wanted to be computer science, like coding, programming, all that.
Right.
Got into college. I was actually a marketing major first semester.
Really?
Yeah, and then I switched to computer science.
Mm-hmm.
It's my second semester, and then I switched to computer information systems,
Right.
cybersecurity, my sophomore year. Because I realized, I mean, I feel like it's generally known, like if you select a major by sophomore year, you're good. Like you're good. You'll graduate on time.
Yeah.
You can sort of consider until sophomore year, but
Yeah.
I sort of figured I would always be in the IT field. That's how I grew up. I loved computers. I was always loved
Actually, I
computers.
never got that
Really?
from you. No, I never picked that up.
Yeah,
from
I was
you.
always playing computer games. Like remember MapleStory, bro?
Yeah.
Every
yeah.
morning I wake up and play that shit. I was always just
Seriously?
into computers.
I didn't even know you were on the computer that much.
Yeah, me and Justin would play my MapleStory a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely knew that I was gonna be in the IT industry. I
Okay.
knew I couldn't go to pre-med and then go to another med school for 4 years and residency for another 6 years. I knew I didn't have that work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, why not just go to school for 3 years, graduate, get a job,
Right.
make money.
Okay.
I want to get my master's, but once you start making money, it's just you get lazy.
Trust me.
You want to go back to school.
You're talking
so.
to a dropout.
Yeah.
And it's only because I started working young.
Yeah.
And so which is no excuse because Burrell started working young too,
Yeah.
and he went on, got a degree and everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, shout out to
Burrell
Burrell.
definitely has that work ethic. That's
Yeah.
one thing I always like admired was no offense, but like
Yeah.
when you're friends with Burrell and you don't know his ethic,
Yeah.
you don't think he's that smart. But he's smart.
Yeah. No offense, bro.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the smarter kids I know. Kids. Older than
Smarter
me.
guys. Yeah.
Older than me.
It's the wine talking, bro. He's sorry.
Yeah,
He's sorry.
Sorry, bro. But yeah, I love Burrell, man.
Yeah.
Great guy.
That's the thing about him. So like, I'm not gonna lie, Burrell humbles me. Yeah, because like like I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say where I'm trying to. I don't want to. Was it put levels to everybody's struggle? But Burrell had to go through some walls, with his upbringing and stuff like
I remember that too.
And then yet he still made it out, and he's like this really good guy.
Yeah.
You and him both. You guys. I consider you both like my big brothers. Like, I know we grew up with a lot of guys in the neighborhood. We're all close and whatnot. But no, I legitimately have so much respect for you and Burrell. And the thing actually always respect about you was no matter like what phase in life we went through, whether it's elementary school, middle school, high school, when you got to college, after college, you were always yourself, and I never felt like you were trying to force anything. You were never trying to like force this persona. I'm like, no shade, but I've seen that from a lot of guys growing up, and even like just people we saw going in school,
For
and
sure.
like and so so it was just always just a comfortable feeling to be around you, and I always admired it.
Appreciate it.
You know,
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I felt the same way about you too. It's just, I feel like you, Burrell, Sean, even I feel like the reason why I think this is because you guys are the ones that I stuck around with, even when we got older. I know Tony moved to different schools.
yeah,
Jungwoo went his own path.
yeah,
I still see Jungwoo,
yeah,
too when we were playing, when we were hooping and stuff.
yeah,
But I feel like even after college, even after all that, you, Prashant, and Burrell are the only ones that I talk to more often than the others. So I feel like that's why you feel that way too. You kept in touch with us more than the other Wilbur kids. I know you
Right.
kind of hang out with Tony a lot too.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you say I haven't changed. I stayed true to myself. But when I was in college, man, like I was freshman, sophomore year, I joined a fraternity, and I feel like college makes you think you need to change.
right,
Because college is a completely different lifestyle. And then junior year, senior year came around, and I realized like college is such a fleeting memory for a lot of people. And once you're graduated, your life is gonna separate from those who you thought were friends in college.
right,
So I think that junior year is when you realize that,
yeah,
and then you sort of get grounded again and go back to who you really were.
yeah.
Um,
And I think that's
but-
what adulting is. Actually,
yeah.
I saw it on an Instagram post, so I'm not gonna steal this credit. I don't even know what the page is, but shout out to them. It said that adulting is going back into what you enjoyed as a child.
kid, yeah.
Yeah, and I really do believe that. And like you say college is a different lifestyle. It's that's where I guess you learn a lot of life lessons. Or
For
I
sure.
believe, not the college I went to though. It felt Georgia Gwinnett College in a way felt like high school. As a matter of fact, I felt like
Really?
in a way
Okay.
because there was a lot of people that how should I put it?
Peaked in high school?
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
I'm
no
not,
better way to say it.
I'm not even gonna touch that part. But I would say from when you go to the rec center at Georgia Gwinnett College, you meet a lot of like the Gwinnett All-Star rejects. Like all these people that said they always claim that they could have been this, could have been that in high
Yeah.
school on their team, da 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 da. But anyways, that's besides the
Yeah, I mean,
point.
so yeah, they
Yeah.
peaked in high school. I mean, what I assumed was I feel like Georgia Gwinnett College, like the community colleges, is where the demographic is a lot older. It's people who
Yeah.
started their life, lived their life, and decided to come back to school.
Right.
I feel like once you graduate, you really realize it doesn't matter where you go to college.
Yeah.
The degree is what matters. So that's why I thought the demographic would be older people coming back to school after they've lived their life a little bit.
Yeah.
But different experience, I guess.
That's coming from a 24-year-old homeowner, guys. Listen to that. I don't give a shit where you go
I
to.
say I'm a homeowner, but dude,
You don't
I
feel like it?
I do feel like, I mean, I have lived alone before,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. People
Yeah.
don't talk about how much maintenance there is with the house, and we have a dog here too. I feel like that's what really changed my life.
What?
Having a
Daisy?
dog, yeah. Because when I was living in Dallas, I mean, dude, I was depressed. It was a bad life. Like,
Were you by yourself? You didn't have a roommate?
nah, I didn't have a roommate. I had one relative. The only person I knew was a relative who lived 15 miles away.
Okay.
I was living alone, and then I think getting a dog, especially your first dog, and getting a puppy, it's like raising a baby.
For sure.
It gives you a lot of responsibility. I completely forgot what we were talking about.
Me too.
Just ranted, but yeah,
Good wine.
I have no idea what we're talking about anymore.
It's all good.
Um,
I like this topic.
what was the topic again? Oh yeah, dogs.
Bruh. There ain't no way.
But yeah, no, dogs really teach you responsibility because no matter what you're doing, you have that dog in the back of in the back of your mind. Like if you're going out with your friends to eat lunch, you're thinking about, okay, I need to get back at this time to get this done. I need to take her out. I need to give her food. If you're going out, friends, late at night, you need to take her out before you go.
Yeah.
And you come back and just make sure everything's okay. And
Yeah.
it's like having a baby, having an actual child.
It is having a child. It's just a different.
Pet is a child.
Yeah, it's just a different
Especially
species.
if you live alone.
My thing. That's why I can't have. I always say I can't have a child of any means right now.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't have a human baby. I can't have a dog. I can't even honestly, to be honest, I can't even have a fish. I could not. Just the thought of like it's like, oh yeah, like we can go out straight after work.
No.
You have to go feed Nemo at 7:00, or he'll starve and he'll turn upside down. And it's like,
I think it's a lot different for you personally, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't stay at home that often unless your day's over.
me?
You're always out and about. I feel like you're doing something. Like early morning, you're at the gym. You're going to work. Then today you're here, or you come back after work and you're in the gym. I feel like you're only home at night, evenings.
You know that you in a way you're right,
Mm-hmm.
but I only do that is because I don't really feel like I have I don't have a lot of me time when I'm at home, and so I always have to keep myself busy in order to have me time. That sounds a little like it's like opposite, but it's just for the fact like when I'm at home I have so many obligations.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not sure. I'm not even gonna say it's because I'm Asian. I just know it's because like the way my family's set up is like I've always been told to help out like whenever you can. And as a kid, when I was younger, I really abided by that. But again, when you're always told to do something, like you said earlier, like as you get older, you kind of become rebellious of it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of always been my way to get away from those obligations.
Yeah.
And that was the only time I really felt like I was free. It was when I
Tell me
left.
about it.
So when I wake up in the morning as like a teenager, right? As like someone in middle school or something. Let's say it's a Saturday morning. I'm 13 years old. I wake up. It's like, oh man, I can't wait to go call Gowtham, call Varel, whatever. We can go hoop. Or we might, God, Jesus Christ, we might walk to Walmart just because we're so bored.
Yeah. I really miss those days. Just waking up and thinking, only thing on my mind is hooping.
Right. And
playing
just
COD.
having fun.
Getting a mono for 3.
And that's the thing. And, even as a kid, it seems like a big deal. Looking back, it wasn't now, but it's like, wake up, hey, I need you to go to the garden, do this and the third. I need you to move this furniture. I need you to dust the house. I need you to do this. Like every time I woke up, I felt like I was always obligated to be like a workhorse.
Yeah.
And so as I got older, the task got more serious because, as you get older, you get bigger and you can do more things. Yeah. And so, so for me, just waking up to go to the gym at like 5, 6 a.m., that was my freedom. That was my time away from.
That's when you're really alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also knew at the time that there wasn't going to be that many people at the gym. Yeah. And now I can't really say that because I became chatty catty and I became friends with every person.
That's what I was telling you in the beginning of the podcast. Like you're a conversationalist. You love to talk to people.
And I think that actually, one, I give that credit to growing up in a hair salon I used to actually be super shy as a
I
child.
see.
I was super shy, super shy. But my mom was always pulling me out of like that back room me and my sister were hanging out
Yeah.
in, and she was like, "Come say hi to Uncle so and so. Come say hi to Aunt blah 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 blah." These people aren't really aunts and uncles, but just that's just what Asian people do.
Yeah.
Everybody's an aunt and uncle,
Yeah.
And not only that, but it was actually a point in time. I guess you can say I was kind of a loner, because I like one in my teenage years I was getting into a lot of arguments and fights with the people in the neighborhood. One,
Mm.
and then two, from the people at school, I just felt like no one was really genuine. I felt like everyone was like trying to,
Living for someone else.
yeah, and like faking the funk, just trying to be somebody else.
Yeah.
And so even though they were like grown as men, being a 15-year-old kid, like even though these people might be fathers, mothers, grandparents, even, at least they were genuine. At least I knew, like whenever I saw them as that's who they were. I didn't have to guess, and I felt comfortable around them.
Yeah.
And I actually, thinking back, it's kind of crazy. I felt more comfortable around strangers than people I saw every day at school
Yeah.
and whatnot.
I think that goes back to you saying you're an old soul, because I feel like you may have matured earlier than other people. Because I feel like in high school, college, I don't think I think it's more about people trying to figure out who they are rather than people trying to be someone else. I feel like when you see someone as trying to be someone else, you may think that, but I feel like a lot of the time they themselves are trying to figure out who they are.
That's true.
But for you example, like you already, I feel like you already knew who you were. When you said you're an old soul.
I like to think so.
So I feel like it was easier for you to adapt and really do what you wanted to do. Like talk to people,
Right.
go do things yourself, and sort of, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just
well,
yeah,
that part was easier.
yeah,
And that's where I had to do some growing up, right? Because like you said, other people were trying to find themselves.
yeah,
And during that time, while I already knew who I was, everyone that's our age, that was around me, were trying to figure out who they were. And so I always found problems with them. And that's where I had to do some, like again, that's where I had to do some maturing, because I had to realize that and accept that. It's like, hey, these
yeah,
people aren't faking the funk. They're just trying to figure themselves out right now. But I honestly didn't have the patience for it. And it was because at times I did feel like I had to grow up fast.
yeah.
So
No, yeah, I definitely like it's not a blight on your personality per se, but you are a very low tolerance guy.
yeah,
Um,
I
yeah, you don't tolerate much. I think I noticed that a lot when we were hooping together. I think
really,
I think hoops is when your low tolerance stuff really comes out. Um,
yeah.
when when you're wide open, and no one's
To
passing you the ball, or if someone's fouling you, like I feel like when someone starts fouling you, you start getting passive aggressive and you start like
to there.
saying shit. No, we all notice, man. It's
Yeah,
like it's not a bad thing either. I feel like being low tolerance is sort of a no bullshit type of character,
yeah.
and that's definitely not a bad thing. That's what gets you places in life. No
Everything
bullshit.
everything has
Mhm.
pros and cons.
Yeah, for
Everything.
sure.
I'm a heavy believer in that. And the hooping situation. But no, that's actually why.
You gotta talk
Well,
about this.
one, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I muted the Hoopers group chat.
I don't know. No one's ever talked to me in a while.
Yeah. So even when it was active, I
Yeah.
had it muted.
Yeah.
It was just for the sole fact that like one, I knew what it's like, because again, me always talking to strangers, playing with strangers, whether they're older, whether they're my age, whether they're younger, I end up meeting people who just, when it comes to basketball, who just knew the game.
Mm,
And so like their ego, even like a young person that was maybe younger than me, their ego was never in the way. They played
yeah.
the game the right way, even though they might have the ability to go through a double team, shoot a jump shot on top
Yeah.
of him. It might even dunk on him. God,
Yeah.
there's this kid named Alex. He's 15, dude. This kid's gonna be a prodigy. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
But
No, kids these
if
days.
if he sees me open, or if he sees anyone else, he's gonna make the right call.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I really love, because one, they keep everybody involved,
Yeah.
but not only that, but it shows like their humility as like
Yeah.
as a person, versus I've playing with guys, whether it's in the neighborhood or just other people, they're ass. Like they play like shit, and yet their ego is like sky high for whatever reason. And I always hated that. And so
I think where that comes from is we grew up playing street ball. As
yeah,
in we were on the cul-de-sac, no outlines, no 3-point line, no free throw line.
right,
We grew up playing street ball. Basically, it's just like no laws basketball. You call your own fouls, you do all that. And I
yeah,
feel like a lot of the people who are humble and being able to make the right reads, I feel like they grew up with instruction. They grew up on an actual team, the coaches, things like that. And I feel like that's where they get that ingrained in them.
right,
Because I always knew that when you're a kid, you learn and you ingrain things in your brain a lot faster than when you're older.
yeah,
So when you're a kid and you're going to basketball camps and you're on an actual team where your coach is telling you what to do, what not to do, that's where you sort of mature
right,
in basketball. And then I feel like if we're for out like in our case, we grew up playing the cul-de-sac. It's completely different rules.
right,
It's a different world. I heard this on LeBron's podcast.
yeah.
How I forgot what I was talking about.
Now go ahead. You're
No,
talking
no, no,
about
it
LeBron's
was,
podcast.
yeah. So they were talking about how LeBron's always able to make the right read. So
Right.
if you're doubling somebody, then someone's obviously open. So you make that read and make that pass. Whereas if you're playing street ball and you're getting doubled, the only thing on your mind is how am I going to get past this double and make everyone say ooh, and like
Right.
that's just the mindset people have when you're playing street ball.
That's that.
So
You know,
it's-
for the most case.
yeah, it's different when you're playing 5-on-5,
Yeah.
full court.
Yeah.
You're trying to make passes because you're getting tired too, so you're trying
Right.
to make that pass.
And actually, that's actually a reminder moment. I think when I first started really playing fives at like LA or like public parks, I got humbled real quick
Oh yeah,
because I would be in like
bro,
a
I would
street
get
ball mentality.
cooked in public parks.
Dude, like, God, Jesus Christ. I think I've never had teammates hate me, probably, but I think one time I probably had like teammates hate me playing five. It's because I'm so used to trying to do like all these
You
acrobatic
moving like Kyrie
layouts.
and D Rose out
Yeah,
there.
I'm trying to do like all these crazy
Yeah.
things because it's how we grew up playing, right? And then I would get past like maybe one or two guys, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like I'm in there now.
Yeah. You
And
get your
that
shit
fifth
packed,
person, that third person, like they would,
send
yeah.
your shit flying. Yeah.
hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell
That's
yeah,
how
yeah.
R.I.P.
Uh,
OJ. Wait, is it
OJ.
R.I.P.? Do we really say R.I.P. to OJ dying?
Jesus Christ.
I feel like that's not really a R.I.P. thing to
I
say.
mean, look, it's.
Did you hear? So before he died, apparently, I don't know if it's fake news, but he tweeted. He was like, "I did that shit," and then his family deleted the tweet. I don't know if that's real.
I don't believe that. I think it's
Okay.
a meme. There's no way.
Okay,
There's just no way.
Yeah, I saw a tweet
First,
about
if
it.
it's got first of all, in his last dying days, you telling me he's using his last strength to type a tweet?
I think that's what it is. I think when you're on your deathbed, you have nothing to lose because you
That's very
face no
true.
repercussions. You could say I killed that person and then die, and then you have no consequences.
Before we get
face.
deeper into that, you know, peace and blessings to the Simpson family. Whether he did it or not is always tough to have
Yeah.
a loss. You're laughing.
Let us know in the comments if you did it or not.
Jesus Christ. There's no, peace and blessings to the family. Just y'all don't attack the family. That's all I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah, definitely don't attack innocent people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can attack OJ if you want. You know, he's dead, so cut this out or what?
No, I'll keep it in. Doing the math now. This is the Asian. I've known you since I was 5 years old. You were 24, about to be 25 now.
Yeah.
That's 20, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
19, 20 years
Wow,
now.
really much of 20 years.
Yeah. And I never saw you being IT coming. Even though that's the Indian stereotype,
Yeah.
I never saw it coming.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you think I was gonna be?
I didn't know.
Psychology,
I was for me, I was just so focused on just being a kid and just like enjoying my time with
Yeah.
you guys. I never thought about it once. You know, other people like Prashant, they always talk about, oh, I'm gonna be a what is he? What did he say?
Bro,
Criminal
Prashant's
justice.
changed careers like 20 times.
Yeah, I think he always said like criminal justice lawyer. Criminal justice.
He wanted to be
lawyer.
an anthropologist. He wanted to be ecologist.
Like
I remember he wanted. When we were in elementary school, he said he wanted to be an insectologist.
I think
Shit
that's
didn't even-
I think
doesn't
that's
even
only
exist,
shit he
bro.
told you because I don't think the rest of the group would know what the fuck
Okay.
he's talking about. Yeah, there was that Indian connection right there. But again, I never knew. What is your life goal? Do you have one at the moment? It's okay not to.
I might need to go to therapy for this. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I want.
Yeah.
I want to have a family. I want to. I
Yeah.
want to settle down. I want to be able to live my life like the typical country club, soccer
Yeah.
mom lifestyle. I feel like that's a lot of
Soccer
people's
mom
goals.
lifestyle.
Soccer dad,
Okay.
tennis dad, basketball dad,
Okay,
whatever sport my kids wants to play.
Yeah.
He's playing a sport. He's going D1 in something. He or she. I don't care.
Well, hopefully he gets your
Whatever they like, they're going D1. But yeah, I don't know. I just
dude, first of all, you don't need to go to therapy for that.
I feel like when you don't have a concrete personal definition of success, I feel like that's something therapy can help you with.
But for me, I think you just said your goal. You want to be a soccer dad, and even though that sounds funny,
dad.
but I mean, I know that sounds funny, but at the same time, I mean, that's a goal. That's again going back to what we said before. Instead of like having these big outrageous goals, that's okay. We can be happy with that.
Sure.
Like, like imagine how many families that you met during that time is like, yeah, the dad might have been super successful and whatnot, but the most important part is like he was enjoying his life, his kids, and he was enjoying with their kids, and so not once, at least for me, not once did I hear someone that has like a good family that's super happy boast about their career. I've met people that boast about their career, but in this specific topic about like people having family and whatnot, I mean, because I always thought about like there's people who make average salary, let's say $40,000-$50,000 a year, and they're happy for the most part. Yeah, bills are always gonna be there. Bills are always gonna be stressful, but at the end of the day, they could come home, they have their kids, they have their wife or husband, and they get.
When you get a family, you realize that's your priority.
Yeah. And actually, someone I met in college and someone I had on the podcast already, Aztec Speech. I think in college when I met him when I was a freshman, he was talking about. He was like, "Isn't that the main goal in life, anyways? To just have kids, make a family."
Like as a human, your biological, like whatever, however you see it, as a human, your primate goal in life is to reproduce, have a family,
and that's
produce more generations.
And that's what he was saying when I was a freshman. I didn't understand that. I was like, well, don't you want to accomplish this, that, and the third? But that's the thing. When you actually make life more simple, I mean, no diss on anyone that has big goals, but when you do make life simple, I think it's easier to be happy.
Yeah, for sure.
And so
I think older people realize that too. I think when you retire, frankly, you just give less fucks.
Right.
So you realize what's really important in life. None of that money you made 40 years ago.
And you know what helped me with the idea, even though I've already had this idea instilled in me because like of Aztec Speech and other people I've talked to and just going through life, is me working in a doctor's office right now, right? I don't know if this is breaking HIPAA violation, but let's just say when I'm pulling patients back, or I've seen other medical assistants pull their patients back, and I find out they're former NFL players, they're former NFL coaches, or they're former NFL strength trainers, whatnot. Those people who made hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions, they still have to do what the regular human does.
Oh yeah.
And not
At
only
the end
that,
of the day, you're still a human.
yeah. And let's just say maybe they still have that whole pool of money on them, and they're just, for them, this is like, oh, I'm just going to the doctors. But at the end of the day, like, they're retired. They're still living a regular person life now.
Yeah.
And so what's the most important thing at the end of the day? It's like not only their family, but it's like their legacy.
Yeah.
So
sure.
And that's something I actually had to, even early on, even though I told myself before I ever started this podcast, I told myself, like, man, I don't care if this thing doesn't blow up or whatever, but I did end up having really fun making these podcasts and these episodes and everything. And I kind of did get lost in like the whole business side of it. Like I wanted this to be successful. At the end of the day, I still do want it to be successful. But
I think when you're comparing yourself to podcasts that are successful, you're going to feel that way. But the people who are doing podcasts now, they're successful. They were successful before that. They were just doing podcasts as like a sub income, like a secondary income.
Right.
Whereas you're doing it for fun. If
And
it blows up,
that's
it blows up. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
and that's why I had to take some time off from filming other episodes because I had to let that feeling grow again, and
Yeah.
because I had to look at it like this, go back to the idea of like it truly is just purely out of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like in the future, me and you can look back at this and say we had this conversation,
Yeah.
or
That's the best part about it.
yeah, or my kids and be like, this is kind of like one of those like me and you. I feel like you probably did too. I grew up watching VCR tapes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like those. I don't.
People our age definitely did. Like,
Yeah.
Who did it?
And so like VCR tapes are like when we were kids and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is just another one of those things. And even like like I'm not trying to wish anything bad, but I've experienced a lot in my life. If I were to pass, at least I got to express a little bit of myself or like what's on my mind on this podcast.
Yeah.
So people can look back at it if they either just want to know my insight or just because they miss me,
Yeah.
So yeah, my goals in life have become, you can say they become, I'm not gonna say they become smaller, they just become more simple. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it is what it is.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I do just want to live a happy life. Now, what I'd love
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that. Now, would $80,000 to $100,000 a year be nice? By all means,
Well,
yeah.
then I'll be nice, it's-
Right. It would make life a lot more simple.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, people who are making that money still have to go through certain
Yeah.
things. But
people say money can't buy happiness, but I think money helps you buy happiness.
it definitely
Like,
does.
money can definitely help with happiness. It just can't be the sole reason.
There we go. And on top of that, just because when people start to get more money, they forget those goals, and now they're always thinking about like how they can stretch their money or how can they make more money. It's like they add more stress to their life when they don't have to.
I think
So.
social media definitely ruined that for us, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the idea of like
We're always seeing other people.
Yeah. Every day you open your phone and you see someone else being more successful than you,
Right.
that just gives you a skewed mindset of
And-
what success is.
And that's why I'm always telling people like don't believe everything you see.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is kind of true that I'm always out. I mean, that's what you were saying about me earlier. I do post a lot on my story. Yeah, I'm always out. But again, I told you my reason for always being
Oh
out.
yeah.
So just because I'm out, I'm always doing things, doesn't mean I guess I'm content with my life or I'm happy with my life. I mean, for the most part, I am. But
What would you say would make you happy?
what would make me happy at the current moment? Man, just
If there's one thing that you think you lack in life right now that if you had, you'd be much happier.
I hate to say it, but man, it really sucks to say since we just had this conversation, but it would be money. But it's not for the sole fact of having
Yeah,
money.
it's a normal dude.
But I always grew up just being told that like we were like there's always just something biting at us, whether it's a bill, whatever, if it's or whether it's a mortgage for like the salon, whether for the house, whatever. It's just like, or like streaming service, just anything. Like it just always seemed like there was some sort of bill just coming in front of our face, and I just felt like if I just had enough money, or even just like all the money in the world, we wouldn't have to, like, if we can just not worry about all the financial stuff and just live, that would be the biggest blessing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think would make me happy right now. Because I do have other things I feel like would make me happy.
I think it's less about making you happy and it's more about getting a lot of the burden off your shoulders.
That's really it. I just don't
burden.
want to feel like I have all these obligations anymore, or have like, or just seeing like my people stressed out about things. Like if we just can just all just be like living comfortably.
Yeah.
That's what I wish for myself and everyone in my circle. That's all I want.
Yeah. Let me just show Daisy real quick. She's begging for attention. So, guys, this is my dog. Say hello. Okay.
I don't know what other relationships have been in, but like during my time of knowing you.
0.
What have you always looked for in a relationship?
Damn. What have I looked for in a relationship? Someone who's nice to me, honestly.
Someone who's nice to you.
They're nice to me. they care,
Yeah.
genuinely care, as in they want to help you grow, and they want you to help them grow.
Yeah.
Someone who can make me laugh.
A real partnership.
Yeah, real partnership, and I feel like it's not talked about, but also like a nurturing relationship. You both nurture each other.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing for me is just keeping me happy. You know,
Yeah.
I keep them happy, keep me happy, and we're good.
And see,
Make me laugh. I'll make you laugh.
that's where it goes back to what we were just talking about. Just simplifying the goals. The
Yeah,
Asian
exactly.
culture,
Yep.
it's not always about marrying someone who's gonna have a successful career.
Yeah.
Someone you just genuinely love
Yeah.
spending time with and being around.
Exactly. I never really like, had a type. You know, like people always say, like, "What's your type? What's your type?" But
Yeah.
I feel like if I find the right girl, then I find the right
And
girl.
that's actually my struggle right now. Like, there's beautiful women everywhere. I
Yeah.
see beautiful women every day. None of them touch me like that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So, but things take time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I went 24 years of my life without having a girlfriend. I mean, I thought I thought I was gonna die single. You know. But
Really?
I never expected this relationship to happen with me and
Yeah.
Nikki. I mean, it was in the back of my own mind sometimes, but I never
Yeah.
expected it to go this far. So,
Wow.
you never actually know.
Yeah.
People say you never know; it could happen anytime, but they're right. You never actually know. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, congratulations to you, man.
Thank you.
What do you want to see yourself in the future? Or even if you want a number, 5, 10 years.
5, 10 years. I think 5 to 10 years. Have a couple kids.
Okay.
Not be in Georgia.
Not be in Georgia.
I
Okay.
want to be in Georgia. I want to move to Dallas.
So you do want to go
I
back
want to go back to Dallas. Yeah, I miss Dallas all
Yeah,
the time, dude. I always miss Dallas. Honestly, any nice suburb out of state.
Yeah.
Making good amount of money to be able to support my family.
Yeah.
I want to travel the world.
Yeah.
I think that's when you asked me previously what my goal in life was. I definitely want to travel the world. I want to, because I haven't. Only other country I've been to with that's not a layover in the airport is India.
Okay.
So, definitely want to travel different countries, see things, and yeah, in 10 years I want to have at least seen 5, 10 countries.
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you?
For me? Actually, I never even thought about that for myself. I mean, I always think that's the thing. I always been focused on the end goal, which is very hypocritical of me. Man, 5 to 10 years. One, I want to be in a genuine, healthy relationship.
Yep.
And at that point, just be living comfortably.
Yeah.
Hopefully, by then, I know as humans, like we always want to chase something, but hopefully by then I'm pretty content and I'm just living a comfortable life.
Yeah. And I don't think it's bad to always trying to chase something.
Yeah.
I think it's
As
more
long as you're
about
not fixated
being
on it.
satisfied with what you have.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be dissatisfied with what you don't have.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest lessons my dad taught me too. Be satisfied with what you have. So
Yeah.
you can still strive for things and have goals.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah. I just want to be comfortable, man.
That's good.
In all aspects.
Yeah.
So that's what I want, because I know when it comes to this, I have a lot of things on my bucket list, a lot,
Yeah.
and it's not. For me, it's never been a thought of if I'm going to get those things done. It's just when.
Mm.
So, and as I've gotten older, whether it's working with like older coworkers or
Yeah.
just like just being around older people a lot, I realize, even though we like to say life is short,
Yep.
and we like to call certain ages old,
Yeah.
there's actually so much life to live.
I think 30 is a new 20.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, damn, I can even step it. I can even step it up a notch. Like I have patients in like their 60s and 70s that are like doing things they've always wanted to do now.
It's about the mindset. It's all it's about.
That's what I mean by living comfortably. We're done putting numbers on things. We're done stressing ourselves out about the end goal.
Yeah.
Just living and going with the flow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Agree.
hopefully the next time we shoot an episode, that's where we're
at.
both at. Like
Yeah.
you've accomplished, like going to at least, because I know I'm probably gonna film something with you probably not 5, 10 years.
Sooner than that. For
Yeah.
Sure.
So hopefully you've traveled to another country besides India.
At least
by
one or
then.
two. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
But,
But regardless, man, no matter where you are, whether it's Dallas, whether it's India, whether it's I don't know.
definitely not moving to India. So just get that out of your mind.
I was gonna say Trinidad next because that's where your West Indians are.
Hey, man.
Your family for life over here. So,
Appreciate it, man.
all right, so thanks for coming on Raw Dogging.
For sure.
All right, y'all.
Cheers to that.
This is where we're gonna end it. This isn't what classy people do, but kill your wine real quick.
Yeah. You gotta sip your nose in there. You gotta put it down. You gotta go like this.
That's Swiss shit. Yeah. I think you're supposed to do that first, but
sip it, and then you go like you tap.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I said do it the unclassy way.
Oh, the unclassy way. What's the unclassy way?
Chug that thing.
Chug it?
Chug it. Why not?
Crazy.
Got a fat glass for a reason. There we go.
Chugging wine is crazy.
We're out.
Peace.
I'm just hoping we don't fall apart. Trying to kill my energy.
You don't want to sit right next to Kenneth?
Who's Kenneth?
You don't want to sit right next to Kenneth?
Bro, who's Kenneth?
You'll find out who Kenneth is, bro. We all know who Kenneth is.
You gotta meet Kenneth. Why do you want to get in a shotgun so bad? Sit in the
You got Kenneth. You got Kenneth. I'm good on that.
Bro, why does no one want to sit right next to Kenneth? He's a good guy.
He's pretty cute.
Say, I have no issue sitting next to Kenneth. All right, see, at least we know Burrell isn't. At least Burrell isn't racist.
Got a big ass belly. You can't be racist toward white people, man.
Oh no. That man hit the board. Gowtham, say what's up to the pod.
I leave her tongue-tied. In your soul, I feel I hate ya. More I glow, I feel I'm way down. Just might fall, we going way down. So no, I won't fail now. Praise my God, 'cause God gon' strike down. Ride through life.